Alright folks, the Type 4 Juto Tier 7 normal Japanese heavy tank, the one before the gun cooling starts at Tier 8. So it's a conventional 105, there's no autoloader, there's no gun depression with the hydro-pneumatic suspension or the gun cooling of the later tiers. So conventional plain old heavy tank. Kinda looks like a roided out Panzer III-4. It is thick for the turret front, but the hull armor is only 80 sloped, so more like a medium tank. It is a 105mm, and that packs a punch, but Commander Cupola is a big chimney of a smokestack. That is pretty big, so practically negating your turret armor, but turret armor should be about 200mm thick. It is flat, but 200 is good enough, like a Porsche Tiger-ish of a hull front, I guess, or some of the Japanese superstructures on the tank destroyers. But it's okay. I mean, you don't have to fumble about with the gun cooling or the hydro-pneumatic suspension, so traditional vehicle design, slightly interleaved road wheels. Interesting. I mean, there are some aspects of German, there are some aspects of Russian-esque design, but it's mostly German, mostly. Based on the flat angles, it's pretty flat. So yeah, I mean, all the fun starts at Tier 8. You get your siege mode, you get your turbo mode, you get your rocket boosters. Yeah, all the stuff starts at Tier 8 practically. And the autoloaders, well then again, the auto reloader mostly appear at Tier 8 too. Alright. So let's take a look at the main stats. It's a 105. Penetration is about the average. Gold shell is workable, but will struggle against Tier 9s. 320 alpha, classic. Shell velocity is kinda slow, slightly. So usually it's about 1000 or 1100. So lead your shots. DPM, okay-ish. Not bad, not great. I mean, it reminds me of the original T29 before they nerf it to the ground. Aim time is alright. Accuracy is alright. Gun depression 10 degrees, 20 elevation. The cupola is big, so that's the main downside of this gun depression based vehicle. You have a weak spot jumping out, like reminds me of the T-103 Russian tank destroyer with the little cupola on top, but it's round, it's a little bulge, so you might play this thing from like 300 meters or 400 meters, not that close range. So 40 rounds. Has a loader this time compared to the later tiers. You actually have safe stowage and intuition, which is good. Top speed is only 35. Horsepower per ton ratio is 15.5. So a little bit better than the Tier 8, but the Tier 8 got recently buffed from like 14 to 17. So we'll have to see with the actual mobility of these things, but should be like a slightly more nimble Emil 1-esque of a playstyle. Should be, or Porsche Tiger-ish. Not really. Tiger 1-ish. Traverse, fat medium, slow. It's a little bit slow, but for a fat medium, but good enough, I guess. 1350 health, which is not half bad for a Tier 7. Decent enough. It's like a medium tank at Tier 8. 85 the hull front, 40 at the hull sides. Don't side scrape. Even though you have side skirts, don't side scrape. It's not even worthwhile. 200 at the turret front. And the mantlet is slightly big than what you expect, but it is flat. So if you get tired, shoot gold shell into the turret front. It'll pen. Only 200. 70 at the sides. Ick. 3.7 meters of view range. About the average. Radio is standard. Feels big. Yeah, it does feel kind of big. I mean, stock turret. That's an 88. That's a copy of the German KWK 36 L56 88mm. I mean, the Tiger 1's gun normally, historically, but cupola is still a smokestack on top. Ick. I mean, you could play this thing like a French vehicle, so with better mobility, just not as good top speed. Yeah. Stock gun is at 88. That's the 88. Only 800 meters per second shell velocity? That is kind of bad. Okay. I mean, stock grind might be a difficult one. Actually, talking about stock grind, 88mm copy of the L56, 105mm. So you don't need the upgraded turret for the upgraded gun, but thankfully the upgraded 105 doesn't weigh as much. Well, doesn't weigh that much compared to the stock 88. They don't show you the turret weight of the second turret. Also, they don't show you the XP required, unfortunately. The engine is shared. That's nice to know. So you don't have to research this engine on the Tier 8, but radio is shared, gun's not shared, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Stock grind doesn't seem that bad. I mean, granted, it's a stock 88 for a Tier 7 against a bunch of Tier 9s. Yeah, AE Phase 1s or Concept 1Bs, any of the main battle tank-esque of a heavy tank will chew through this thing like nothing. 88. Traverse is decent enough. Aim time is actually not half bad. DPM is crazy for the 88, but then again, you need to use all the gold shell in the world. DPM for the 105 is not bad. It's like the original T29 without the rammer too. That's pretty good actually. Health is only 50 more with the upgraded turret. Stock turret is 170 at the turret front. It is also flat too, but weighs about 50-ish tons. You could go ramming with this thing, but then again, the hull armor is kinda if for hull armor ramming. You don't have that much armor to ram. Camo, crap. Yeah, then again, it is as expected. Fuel range, 370 is good enough. It just feels so bland. I mean, then again, Tier 7s don't have the mechanics or the special gimmicks of later tiers. They don't get stuff like siege mode or auto reloader unless it's a very special Tier 7. I mean, some of the lower tiers like Tier 5s get a weird auto reloader, but that is very special out of the box, like the KV-1SA. So usually they don't have the gimmicks. They are just single shots like a T20 or Leo, so nothing really special. But Tier 7s, let's see DPM for a Tier 7. How good should they be for a heavy tank? Not for tank destroyers. Some of the tank destroyers have so much DPM, like a ISU 122. That thing has a lot of DPM at Tier 7. So, holy crap, L56, Tiger 1, Tiger P. Oh, obviously Tiger 1 has a lot of DPM, but FE 201? Oh, 90mm on T29. So usually it's about the same DPM. But then again, this thing has gun depression, so... Wow, they buffed the 17-pounder on the Black Prince recently too. Alright, so yeah, your DPM is okay enough. It's about the same ballpark as the 105s usually you found on Tier 7s, but you have the gun depression. Should make it work. It's kind of big though. Alright, let's talk equipment. What kind of vehicle type is this? Is it versatile? Versatile. Alright, let's see. Versatile Tier 7s. It's... I don't know. I mean, the T29 was the gold standard of heavy tanks at Tier 7. So versatile Tier 7s are this thing. Ugh. Also, cupola weak spot that is pretty big. And Tiger 1 is just basically DPM machine. So I don't think you can get vertical stabilizer at this point. So you might as well put enhanced gun lane drive. I mean, the aim time is good. I don't think you need it. 2.2 for the Tiger 1. With the enhanced gun lane drive. Wow, this thing already has decent enough enhanced gun lane drive. So I would recommend rammer, obviously. Maybe turbocharger. And then vents. You don't get a second slot upgrade as with Tier 8s. So you could choose whatever you want. But I would suggest maybe turbocharger based on how crap the armor is. It already has decent enough horsepower per ton ratio at 15.5. So boost it up even more with a turbocharger. Yeah, 15.5-ish. So should be fast, but plays more like a medium tank with some situational gun depression, right? Some situational, but it's a large medium tank practically. So better terrain resistance or hull traverse speed, suspension durability. You're not supposed to get hit on the hull, so don't side scrape, don't show your tracks, always go hull down if you can. I would suggest better terrain resistance. So it's like with the Tiger 1, I'm not expected to tank that much damage, even though this thing has a lot of health. This thing is about DPM. This thing has a DPM machine gun of a gun. So use the gun, don't use the armor. Accuracy or aim time. Aim time's already good enough. I say better accuracy. Go sniping slightly. I mean, camp like a bitch and snipe without armor, practically. I suggest better accuracy, slight aim time, and view range over stun duration. Sometimes you don't even fight artillery sometimes, and sometimes you're behind cover. So, better view range. Situational, stun duration buff, or universal view range buff. Always go with universal over situational. So how much would I rate this vehicle? Tier 7 stock grind doesn't seem that bad compared to the Tier 8 with the garbage DPM, but it actually has a lot of DPM. If you're willing to spam the gold shell, this thing has a lot of DPM for the 88, so you'll go through the grind to the 105 easily, hopefully. So not as bad as the garbage DPM on the 90mm for the Tier 8, but shell velocity might be a problem unless you're shooting all gold shell. I don't know. I mean, it's like a fat medium tank. I mean, it reminds me of the original DPM of the T29, but T29 has a very good turret armor. This thing has a situational turret armor that's only useful at a distance. So if you get too close, they take pot shot into your chimney and they'll likely pin, unless this thing is also like 200mm, which I doubt it is. So for now, it's okay. It feels like a 5.5, maybe. Yeah, it's 5.5 feels good. It feels average. There's no special gimmick like an auto reloader or auto loader to make it stand out. So would I rather play with this thing or play with the Tier 7? I forgot the name already. The holy crap, what the hell is the name? The Honi. There. I sold mine. I didn't even want to play with this thing. I mean, this vehicle is actually better than the Tier 8. Mostly because it has actually gun depression. Now granted, you have to cover up the boobs or go through the middle. So sometimes you have the gun depression, but the Tier 8 has virtually no gun depression and most parts of the front. Yeah, these two mini turrets block the gun depression dramatically. So I hate this thing. I hate it. I sold mine. I don't want it. But would I rather play with the Juto or the Honi? the Oni, not the Honi. Wrong. So it is 100mm. Oh, 100mm. But would I rather play with? I mean, it's a super heavy compared to a medium tank heavy. DPM is not the greatest. Also goes with garbage accuracy, garbage aim time. It is a big lumbering vehicle. There's 2 engines. Interesting. Double the engine. 5.5. This thing is like a 4.5. It has some armor, right? It's also 200mm at the turret front, but god damn, this hull front is pretty big. It is only good against like low tier, like Tier 5s, but with the current matchmaking, you'll likely see Tier 8s. And Tier 8s will penetrate through the turret front, or through the hull front, and the double boobs. Yeah, I would rather play with the Juto. Definitely, I would rather play with this thing. Well, there you go, folks. The Tier 7 Juto. The Type 4 Juto. So 5.5 out of 10, and there should be 2 more, a Tier 6 and a Tier 5, and then we have the whole line. So luckily this time around it's a whole tech tree, not a half of a tech tree. so to speak, but most of the vehicles are somewhat mediocre, so nothing really stands out, which means it's balanced, quote unquote. It's like with the British wheel vehicles, nothing too crazy, or the Japanese tank destroyers, or even the Chinese rocket heavy tanks. Yeah, pretty average, nothing too crazy. It's about the premium tanks though, like the 𝗧𝘆𝗽𝗲. So as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.